So it is the force that I'm describing that pulls objects towards one another. In this case, on the Earth, it's what goes. It's the kind of force that takes a ball. Okay.
I gotcha. Thank you. Why would you, as a aerospace undergraduate, feel the need to ascribe a force to gravity when that hasn't been the case for 109 years? It seems you are ignorant of what gravity is. Were you unaware that, quote, Professor Brian Cox, there isn't really a force of gravity at all, end quote. Professor...
Hello.
Great.
Good evening.
All right, so, hey, well, good morning. Well, actually, no, it's afternoon now. Anyways, I have a question for you. So, suppose you're in a empty room, and I'm going to put a box in this room. Now, you don't know the orientation of this room either. But that box is, for all intents and purposes, while time is stopped, sitting in the middle of that room, floating in air. And as for anything else, since I did say air, the air is constant pressure, constant density, everything. Without knowing anything else, what is down? And what direction is down in this case?
All right, I don't think I understand your question or the reason I'm being asked it.
Well, no, it's more of a thought experiment.
Why?
Actually, I should probably have prefaced this before. What's your view on gravity, and or do you believe that density is what causes objects to go up and down in a certain environment?
Okay, well, let's start there because that's something I can relate to. Which one?
Actually, go with the second one because that's more pertinent.
No, which gravity?
Not gravity. I'm talking density. Do you believe in the idea that density is what causes objects to either fall or rise relative to one another?
I don't know. Are you making
or
that
rather,
as a
even
claim?
gases?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking you that question.
Do I believe that density is the cause of anything? No, density is just a description.
Okay, do you have any model of gravity then?
Right, do I have a model of which gravity?
So it is the force that I'm describing that pulls objects towards one another. In this case, on the Earth, it's what goes. It's the kind of force that takes a ball. Okay.
I gotcha. Thank you. The force of gravity. I take it you didn't get to higher education.
No, I'm actually an undergrad in aerospace engineering.
Oh, really? So why would you be under the misapprehension that gravity is a force then?
Well, I'm asking you of your model.
Yeah, it's not my claim. I don't have a model. It's not.
No.
Okay, I understand.
Okay,
I understand. I'll just try and respond. I'll just try and respond.
Okay.
I understand. What you want to do is reverse the burden of proof. You have a positive claim of a force of gravity, and you're asking me about my claim of the force. It's not my claim. Please don't reverse the burden of proof. It's not my claim. It's yours. And I've asked you which gravity 3 times. Now, you've said that you're an undergraduate and appealed to some authority when I've asked you a specific question about your question to me by way of burden of proof reversal fallacy for a claim you have of gravity. Which of your gravities are you referring to, I ask? And I got an answer. The force, you told me. I respond. Why would you, as a aerospace undergraduate, feel the need to ascribe a force to gravity when that hasn't been the case for 109 years? It seems you are ignorant of what gravity is. Were you unaware that, quote, Professor Brian Cox, there isn't really a force of gravity at all, end quote. Professor Brian, are you a professor? No, Brian Cox is. There isn't a force of gravity. So now we've summarised, with a lot of interruptions, that you seem ignorant. There is no force of gravity. When I asked you which one, you said force. No, you were ignorant. There is no force. Do you understand?
So you didn't answer any of my questions, but I will answer yours.
Kick him out. Get rid of him. Dick, get rid of him. Yeah, I did answer your questions, Dumbo. That's why the mod team will now remove you. Because I absolutely answered your questions. But your burden of proof reversal fallacy asking me to define what gravity was failed, and I pointed out why. Because I'm not going to use your burden, and that's not mine. Yeah, I did answer you. Yeah, you just get kicked out when you try and attempt it for a second time and tell me I haven't answered you when I absolutely have. I also will now debunk gravity, because the non-force, where you were wrong and ignorant and stupid and told the audience that it was a force incorrectly, when I quoted Professor Brian Cox and explicitly stating it isn't one. You were wrong, Dumbo. And I did answer your question, which was incomprehensible. Because you're describing forces for me to answer about when they're not. So yeah, I did answer you. But meanwhile, you've got a non-force of gravity which does not help you when gas expands in all directions, and there's claimed to be a sky vacuum in this rhetoric that has gravity. Not mine, yours. Failed burden of proof reversal using man. Fallacy. Meanwhile, sky vacuum is debunked by gas behaviour, unaffected by non-forces of gravity. You don't have a sky vacuum. Your astronaut little training that you're wasting your money on, they're lying to you if they're telling you there's a sky vacuum to go to, because the gas we breathe would fill that space. That would be natural law, as opposed to 109-year out-of-date gravity nonsense that is still taught to school kids and idiots that go to NASA like you. Probably not going to NASA, probably a complete liar. Because if you were in NASA, you would hope that he would understand that there's a pseudo-Riemannian force space-time given to him by Einstein, as opposed to coming on a flat Earth server and telling the person under a AMA that there's a force. Not for 109 years, Dumbo. Yeah, I did answer you. Now get lost.
Can I add something
Great,
to that?
so I'm going to grab a question from the pins.
Can I add something to the end of that first?
It's not. I'll have to ask permission. Is that okay, Gremlin?
If you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian.
The floor's your guys.
Yeah, just to clarify something there. A lot of people don't understand that they think gravity is a force and it gives weight to things, that this gravity exists and it gives weight to things, and that this force of gravity creates buoyancy. No, that's incorrect. Buoyancy is 900 years prior to the birth of Isaac Newton. It's Archimedes' principle. Now, let me expand. Why am I bringing that into this? Very simple. The more buoyancy you have, the less weight. More in air than you do in water. But if you remove the air, you will weigh more again. So contrary to popular belief, a lot of people don't realize this, but you weigh more at high altitudes because there's less air, so less buoyancy. So all weight is an apparent effect of buoyancy. More buoyancy, less weight. Less buoyancy, more weight, which is why objects weigh more in a vacuum. If air had weight given to it by a force of gravity, then objects would have to weigh less in a vacuum, but they weigh more. You would have to weigh less at high altitudes, but you weigh more. Things weigh more at high altitudes because there's less air, less buoyancy. So what they did is they hijacked buoyancy, which is the very thing that debunks their gravity, their force of gravity claims, even though gravity is not officially not a force for 109 years, but people still think it is. But they hijack the very thing. This is what they do. They hijack the very thing that debunks their claim of gravity, which is buoyancy. Isaac
What
Newton
an eloquent summary.
Yeah, Isaac Newton never tried to hijack buoyancy. People after him did.